everyone, welcome back to Kitchen Table TCG. I hope you're having yourself a good day. Today we're going to talk about WTR. Welcome to Rathe. We're going to talk about the market update. We're going to do Unlimited. We're going to do First Edition. Sit back, enjoy. There's some good stuff happening. I think there's some good signs, and we'll talk about those for the market. I know these have been a little bit of a bummer as of the last couple months, but I feel like we're starting to show some signs of life. We'll talk about it. Before we get here, if you want to support the channel, content like this, and if you want access to a collection tracker, an avenue to play some games, a Discord server where you can communicate about the game with some cool people, head on over to patreon.com/KitchenTableTCG. It's $5 a month. It gets you access to a collection tracker that utilizes all this data, gets you access to 3 different armory events, and you save $5 off of one of them a month for the Thursday night, and so it pays for itself. Anyway, it's a great way for you to get yourself involved with the game. Let's hop in to WTR and see what's going on with the market. So the biggest thing, and probably the most important thing right now that's happening in all of the flesh and blood market, is that a WTR box sold this week for $5,400 on eBay. Let me pop it up on eBay and then we'll talk about this. It sold for, this was European for 4,600 euros, and that doesn't do anything. But that sold listing does transfer to $5,400 in US dollars. So the other thing is, I know of 2 on Facebook that moved, and so this price point around 5K is what they moved on Facebook. I think this price point is showing some signs of life, and I really firmly believe that alpha version of WTR is the greatest indicator of what the market is doing. All of these things line up. Everything lines up here with the rest of the market and the historical trends of the rest of the market. I really believe that alpha WTR is a great way to set the trend. Alpha WTR and I think also cold foil commons are 2 good ways to try to evaluate what's going on with the market. So just wanted to throw that out there. I think things are, maybe this is a week. I know it's 1 week. I know we were in a downwards trend, but I don't know. I have a good feeling about it. Anyway, unlimited boxes are still sitting around $62, $61 on TCG Player. So let's talk about the Fable. I am not aware of any Heart of Fyendal cold foils that have sold. We're still kind of recovering from back here is when this lot sold for, I think it sold for like $25K, and it included a heart as well as a bunch of other cold foils. It was an auction that ended at a weird time in the morning, and anyway, weird things. So we're still kind of recovering from that sale. And I'm not really aware of any that are moving between hands. The eye, there's just not a whole lot of things going on. You'll see even the cold foil legendaries, the market is extremely dry on all the high-end cards of alpha. So meanwhile, your Heart of Fyendal Unlimited is showing no signs of ceasing to decline. We're down to 175. I'm not sure where the bottom is for Heart of Fyendal. At this point, you could hypothetically buy a case for $60, open up a Heart of Fyendal and a Scab Skin Leathers and not break even on the case. Yeah. Hypothetically, if you pulled all other generic or all other class specific Majestics, you could pull a Legendary and a Heart of Fyendal and not break even on your $65 case. So $65 per box case. Interesting stuff. Let's talk about First Edition though. Let's see if it's worth it to open up a $5,000 box. Spoiler alert, it will not be worth it to open up a $5,000 box. So right now, like I said, the market's completely dry. Nothing on eBay selling. TCG Player's dry. You've got Facebook is very, very, very light. There's just nothing. People who are selling these cards are asking in the 25 to $3,000 range for the class specific Majestics, and the tunic. There was a tunic that sold last week. I think it sold for $5,500 or something like that. I think we talked about it had like a potential little damage on the corner. But the market right now, it's just sellers that don't want to sell. It's sellers that don't want to sell and buyers that don't want to buy at the price that the sellers want to sell at. So that's just kind of where we are for the legendaries. Looking at the cold foil commons, it's still dry, man. It's just Helm of Eisen's Peak sold on eBay for $525. The Hope Merchant's Hood sold for $265, and Iron Rat Gauntlet sold for $225. The market's just extremely dry right now. There's just not a whole lot going on. Your average is at $340. First edition Majestics, again, just kind of dry, although there was some decent sales of Majestics on rainbow foils on eBay. You had a Crippling Crush that got picked up for $290, a Blood Rush Bella that got picked up for $198, and an Alpha Rampage that got picked up for $150. These have not dropped as much as the other cards because these are so rare. These are as rare individually as a Heart of Fyendal. So they are just so few and far between. So maybe now we're starting to see some buyers who are confident enough to buy at the current prices, and that's why you're seeing some softness in some of those. So there was then a regular non-foil, where is it, E-Strike, that's sold for $250, so that's up a little bit. Ancestral Empowerment sold for $35, that's down a little bit. You can see a little bit of a downward trend, but not anything too significant. Looking at the rainbow foil super rares, then your average is about 103. There was a Hurricane Technique that sold for $60, which is down 33%, and an Iron Song Determination that sold for $160, which is down 8%. Meanwhile, you've got the rest of the cards kind of, I guess, Pounding Gale is technically going up. I think one sold on, I think it was TCG Player that sold for 21. But you're seeing just sideways movement on all this stuff, just sideways movement, nothing radical. Your rares, keep in mind, for rares, I just use TCG low for rares and commons. You're seeing some increase in some of the cards. Some of these Guardian cards are increasing a little bit. The Sigil, obviously, a pretty popular card. It's hard to tell exactly what's happening with TCG low. Drone Brutality, no one's selling their cards no one's selling their banned cards for less money. Your average is sitting around $35 for a rainbow foil rare. Again, I would not expect that you'd be able to get on average $35 for a rainbow foil rare, but it's a good starting point maybe, and then take the card and see, is it used or whatever. So looking at the regular rares, your average is about $2.75. You see some increase. Drone of Brutality, Red Snatch. You've got Steelblade Shunt. You're seeing some movement. Sigil of Solace, obviously a highly coveted card. So you're seeing a little bit of movement on some of these, but nothing. Again, we had a ton of sideways, kind of slow downwards trends on these rares, and now they're just slowly maybe starting to inch up. So, looking at the rainbow foil commons, again, these have not been affected. I've said this a couple times. The people are not trying to dump their rainbow foil commons because the value of them is so much less. Sink Below, still a very expensive red card in the rainbow foil. Those are like $7-8 unlimited cards, and so the first edition alpha, they're just so hard to get. Razor Reflex, they are incredibly rare for a common rainbow foil, so there's quite a bit of value in this stuff, averaging out around $11. Just to keep in mind that some of them are much lower than $11. So make sure you understand which cards have the value. Scar for Scar, Sink Below, Razor Reflex, Whelming Gust Rave, the ones that you like to see that people want to bling out their deck with the first edition rainbow foils. Looking at the regular commons then, again, these are kind of all over the place. They're actually up 16%, which is probably a good sign. It means that people are starting to pick up some of them, and the market's drying up a little bit on them. But not really anything to gain from this. So let's take a look at the EV. We are up across the board. Again, you probably don't want to use this Trio EV. It includes the commons. But if you want to take out the commons, include everything else, so you're opening 40 boxes, you're going to hit the Heart of Fyendal. On average, if you open 40 boxes and you hit the Heart of Fyendal, you're still sitting only at $2,339 per box. If you don't hit the Heart of Fyendal, on average, 40 boxes, you'd be sitting at $1,777. And if you open up one box, not a case, and you don't hit a legendary, you'd be sitting at $1,152. Keep in mind that does include like the rainbow foil Majestic, which is 1 in every 4 boxes as well. So that value is actually less than that as well. So if you want to have access to this information as just to see where you are, it's a free tool at ev.kitchenttabletcg.com, and you can actually put in like, hey, I want to only include cards above $10, and it will only include those cards. So make sure you go check out that, and that works for all the sets. So, all right, let's take a look about Unlimited, see if it's worth it to open up a box of Unlimited. The Majestics, the Legendaries are dropping some of them are dropping pretty significantly. Mask of Momentum down to 110, Spring Tunic down to 140. The unlimited printing of the Crucible Tunic really dropped the price of the rainbow foil Unlimited Tunic. Also, there's just a ton of boxes on the market right now. You can get a box for $62. The price of singles is going to come down as people try to recoup their cost on the box. So Tectonic Plating showing some signs of life. Scab Skin was a weird sale last week. It was kind of dropped down rapidly to 40 and now it's back up to where it was. But Tectonic Plating, interesting to start seeing, this. We are seeing Bravo happen a lot. There's a lot of things moving towards Bravo maybe being a competitive, viable option in current Classic Constructed. I know there's a lot of speculation on what the next heroes are, and Bravo's in that discussion of will we see a Guardian in the next set. There's a lot of people speculating on stuff. I think that's affecting the market. You saw Ranger cards do that a while back. So we'll see what happens during spoiler season. Brave Forge Bracers is starting to fall down at 77. That's down 5%. Your average is around $92, which is still pretty good considering the box price is pretty low. So that's 2.5%. I mean, if you think about that, if you open a box, you're taking a 1 in 4 chance to get on average a card that's worth $92. Those are pretty good odds when you're gambling with TCGs. That's pretty good odds. So Unlimited Majestics. So everything's kind of going up. You'll see at the end of this video, this is going to be what kind of drives the price of these boxes a little bit higher. There's a cat back there. So you're seeing some softness, and a lot of the brute cards are kind of soft, but then you're seeing some rise in the like I said, the Guardian card showing some signs of life. Warrior cards, kind of soft, and Light and Strike a little soft this week. All the Guardian cards are up. That's kind of what you're seeing. And your regular cards are up 4% to 1165 on average, and your Rainbow Foil are up $19 by 1%. This is the fear though, is a lot of these cards are, so Alpha Rampage is $1, right? Not super. You can get $1 Majestic, two in every box, 2 Majestics in every box, and one of them can be $1, or one of them can be 75 or 57 for the Enlightened Strike. So there's a lot of variance in your box price. Just keep that in mind. Just because this is an EV doesn't mean that there's not variance in your box price. There's a lot of variance. So let's talk about super rares then. Super rares showing some signs of life for the first time. Bonehead Barrier up just a tad. Cranial Crush up just, there's still not a ton of value in them, but at least they're not continuing to drop. These have been, you can see, just look at the graph. They just lost a ton of value. There's just, it doesn't really even feel that great when you pull a super at this point. Even the Rainbow Foil, $1.43 on average. So just keep in mind, there's not a whole ton of value in this stuff. The most of your money in WTR and ARC is in your Majestic Rainbow. Really, you're just your generic Majestics and in your Legendaries. That's pretty much, it's hit or miss on those things. All right, looking at the Rainbow Foil rares, we're actually up 5% to an average of 67 cents. Energy Potion still seeing some life. Sigil of Solace, of course, expensive. Drone of Brutality, some reason, is still expensive. You're starting to see some signs of life on some of that stuff. Disable, again, a lot of Guardian cards, staunch response on the uptick. So that's kind of what's going on there. The regular rares, you can see that too. Drone of Brutalities, for some reason, I don't know why that's going up. It's on the list twice. That's crazy. Sigil Solace red there. Energy Potion there. You can see what's happening. Your Energy Potions, your Sigil Solaces, all the cards that are needed or played are going up, and the rest of the cards are just kind of floating. So looking at your Rainbow Foil commons then, Sink Below is actually dropping down. Maybe a good time to pick one up at $7. It's crazy. Razor Reflex at $4. When I was building my deck for Ultimate Pit Fight, I was trying to bling it all out with rainbow foils. And I have opened maybe 50 boxes, 60 boxes of WTR, and I keep all of the rainbow foil commons and rares. I don't sell any rainbow foil commons and rares. It's just too much time. Anyway, I only had 2 Sink Below red rainbow foils. It was crazy. Anyway, let's move on. Looking at the EV then per box, True EV includes the commons. Don't include that. There's just so many commons, and the prices are, it just adds up quickly. The no regular commons, this is the price for, if you open 40 boxes, you can expect on average that you'll get around $81 per box. That includes hitting the Heart of Fyendal. If you just open a case, this is how little value the Heart of Fyendal has. If you just open a case and you open 40 boxes, on average, your case, each box will be worth $77 because that includes the Legendaries. But then if you just open a box and you're not going to include the Legendaries, you're sitting at an average of $54. Once again, that does include the Rainbow Foil Majestic, though. So here's what you need to see here. Ignore the common ring. Oh, that worked really well. Did that work? Does that look good for you guys? Yeah, it does. Ignore the common rainbow foils. What you need to see here is the Majestic rainbow foil, the Majestic regular, and the Legendary rainbow foils are where all your money is in this set. If you're gonna open, you've got to hit these two. If you don't hit these two, you're losing everything. If you don't hit a class specific, if you don't hit a generic Majestic or a Legendary, you're gonna lose money. That's just the way that it goes, and the way that opening up WTR is. So that being said, that's the EV of WTR, and I think this is where we are. I would say it's probably worth it. If you can get a case, like that's the key here. If you can get a case, it's probably worth it to open WTR right now. If you can get a case at $65 each. I don't understand when it says I don't understand what's going on with the market. Stores just keep selling lower. It's just like that's in order to sell boxes now as a store, you have to sell them at $65. I don't know. That just seems to be where we are. So at $65, I mean, it's a no-brainer. You can make your money back. It's better than buying the singles. I guess the risk that you're taking is not hitting a generic Majestic. But I don't know. I feel like your odds are pretty good at hitting a Legendary or generic Majestic in a case. So hope you guys have a great day. Remember, be kind to the people around you. If you want access to all this stuff, head on to patreon.com/KitchenTableTCG. And then if you just want to utilize the EV kind of value to see what's in the box, go to ev.kitchenttabletcg.com. Hope you guys have a great day. Once more, remember to be kind to the people around you, and a little bit more encouraging of a video today. We'll see what the market does. I'm interested to see what alpha boxes continue to do. Anyway, we'll talk to you later. Hope you have a good one.